The theme for World Teachers Day 2024 was valuing teacher voices towards a new social contract for education. And so the question was asked, are the voices of teachers in the Bahamas being heard? And the voices replied, no. Thus gave birth to Classroom Chronicles, solution-based critiques amongst teachers about teacher-related topics in education. I am Ms. J, your host for this debut season of Classroom Chronicles. What motivates you to come to work every day? Is it the salary? I think not. Is it your principal, supervisor, HOD? I doubt it. Do you come for the students? Perhaps. How do you feel when you wake up in the morning and think, I gotta get up and go to work? Or is it the plantation for you? In today's session, we address teacher morale, the real deal. Today we have with us Mistress LaDawn Barr from Doris Johnson Senior High, Mr. Davian Chase, also from Doris Johnson Senior High, and Mistress Johnette Ferguson Morris from C.R. Walker Senior High School. I am Ms. J. Let's talk right after this break. Welcome back to Classroom Chronicles. Teacher morale can be defined as the overall mood of the educator within the work environment. When we talk about teacher morale, we consider four factors: the subject taught, the stage of a teacher's career, the school environment, and the teacher's perception of how well their needs are met. Let's get into our questions. Would you say you have a high or low teacher morale? Let's start with you.
Well, I think I have a high morale. I have good rapport with my direct supervisor, with my principal, my colleagues, and so I believe I do have a high teacher morale.
Okay, ladies.
I do think that my teacher morale is high as well. I enjoy going to school each and every day and just inspiring my students through my subject area, my content. I'm excited to teach, and I'm excited for my students to learn.
But you both go to Doris Johnson. I mean, you both teach at Doris Johnson. Doris Johnson has a different kind of culture than a lot of different schools. What do you think sets Doris Johnson apart from some of the other schools when it comes to teacher morale?
Well, I think that one thing about what sets it apart from other schools is really building a school spirit. I think everybody who comes to Doris Johnson at some point gets to hear our school chant. Mr. Chase can help me with that.
When I say Mystic, you say Marlins. Mystic.
Marlins.
Mystic.
Marlins.
When I say Mystic, you clap 2 times. Mystic. Mystic. When I say Mystic, you say Marlins. Mystic. Mystic.
Marlins.
Mystic.
Marlins.
There you go.
That
There you
last
go.
part?
Yeah.
Oh, that is classic.
Yes.
That is classic. So, Miss Johnette, you are at C.R. Walker.
I am.
What is your school or classroom environment like? And would you say your school has high or low teacher morale?
I would say my school has a very high teacher morale. We have a very positive environment. The administrators, they have an open door policy where if there is any challenge or anything that is maybe challenging for us, we can always go there and express our concerns. And in terms of my classroom as well, I have a very positive learning environment. And I look forward to going to school every day. Every day is a new and exciting day.
So I'm a bit concerned. Thank you, Johnette. I'm a bit concerned because all of you go to schools and you claim to have, notice I say claim to have high teacher morale. What about, is this all of your first or only postings?
Yes, it's my only.
Only post?
My only post.
Only post?
This is actually my third post.
This is your third post. So let's
Yes.
talk about teacher morale at your other posts. Were you moved because you chose to move, or were you unhappy where you were, or do you think that there are some things that could have been changed?
Well, at my current post, I did not choose to move. I was sent to Doris Johnson Senior High School. But I was saying to some teachers earlier that the culture and morale of the school changes as teachers move in and out of the school. And sometimes you have teachers who are high energy teachers. You can have them all in one place one year, but if they move out, sometimes, the energy may reduce. That doesn't make it a bad school. So I don't know if the question is teacher morale connected with high energy teachers?
Okay,
Because
sis.
you can be satisfied at your post, and it doesn't have to be high energy.
Okay. What about you, Jonette? What do you think about what LaDawn said?
Well, C.R. Walker has been the only school I have been at, and ever since I went to C.R. Walker, like I said, it was a positive environment. The administrators, my colleagues, the other teachers, the students, they're always there supporting and encouraging me. And if there's anything I did not understand or needed assistance with, they were willing to go above and beyond to ensure that I would have received the correct guidance.
So would you all say that it is really and truly the overall environment, the desire to come to work and work with people who have like minds, who are on the same page as you, that helps to boost your morale?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so just go ahead.
And I would add, everyone being a part of a team.
Okay,
I think
that team
the
spirit.
mindset of this is a team, and however or whatever I can do to make sure that the team wins at the end of the year, the end of the day, that's what I'm willing to do. And I feel as if teachers have that mentality, then the morale will be high.
Okay, thank you for that. And so just recently, the Northeastern District had their award ceremony, and Ms. LaDawn, you obtained 2 awards during that ceremony. I don't remember the official titles for your awards, but how do you feel as though, what do you think that entire teacher awards ceremony helped to boost your morale? Do you think it encourages others to try just a little bit harder as well?
Well, Ms. J, I'll tell you this. First of all, those awards were really unexpected because that was the first time in my 20 years of teaching that I actually attended an event of that caliber for teachers. And let me just tell you, the celebratory atmosphere that filled that room of an event awarding teachers for the work they have done. It was for teachers, by teachers. It just felt so good.
Yes.
I mean, you all were there. That room was just filled with happiness, energy. And I said to myself, I can't believe this is the first time we're doing this.
Yes.
And it is my hope that it would continue each and every year. But going up to accept the award, like I said, I wasn't even prepared or knew they were having an award ceremony from the previous year when I was teaching. But going up and accepting the award, I felt seen, I felt valued, I felt encouraged, and just looking at all of the other teachers, I knew that I was one in a pool of many who just came to serve and do their part as teachers. So I was happy to see that was celebrated at that level, and I would hope that they would continue to do so.
Awesome. What are some of the things that you can do or you can say to teach, because all of us are at school. I'm at LW Young, by the way, home of the Golden Eagles. I got to lodge up my own school here. And so our morale is really high there. Our principal works really hard to just get everybody. All the sailors got to be on the ship. All the Eagles got to get ready to fly, to soar. And so that's one of the things that our school encourages, high teacher morale, making sure everyone their voices are being heard. Our principal has an open door policy. My classroom swings on open hinges like Jonette and LaDawn's class, and I'm sure yours as well. Yes. But what would you say to some of the teachers who at their school, they may not, because all of us have high teacher morale, all of us have this high teacher morale. What would you say to those that perhaps don't have it at their school? What would you say to encourage them or how can you help them? Because all us talking good things here, but we want to help persons that perhaps may not be in our positions. Everyone can't come to Doris Johnson or C.R. Walker or L.W. Young. So what would you say to them? Johnette, let's start with you.
I would say maybe they can find a way to network with other teachers to find out exactly what is going on in their classroom, what is taking place at their school. Because at C.R. Walker, we are celebrated at the school level as well. So when we achieve things, we are celebrated for the achievement. So I would encourage them to network with other teachers and speak with them and ask them how are they able to be excited to go to school every day.
All right. LaDawn?
Yes, and I'm celebrated at the school level as well. But Ms. Shea, let's shout out your principal. When I walked into the awards and I saw all of you with a bouquet of flowers, I was like, hey, she knows about teacher morale right
Yes,
there.
she does.
And
she
you all
does.
had that smile glued on your faces the entire time, win, lose, or draw.
Start to
So
finish.
that's one way that administrators, giving those extrinsic rewards to their teachers to help build that teacher morale. But another way you can build it is, for me personally, I look at teaching as a ministry, and we're ministering to our students. No, we don't look for rewards. But, in time, over the years, especially when your students are adults, they come back, and then you get those rewards that money can't buy. And
That is
to
so
me,
true.
that builds teacher morale more than anything else, knowing that you made a difference in the life of a child.
That is so true. Thank you so much. And we'll continue this discussion right after this short break. This is Classroom Chronicles. Welcome back to Classroom Chronicles. Just before the break, we asked all about what encouraging words can our guests give to other schools who may have low teacher morale. We covered the ladies, and now, Gent?
Here's what I would say. I remember when I started at Doris Johnson 6 years ago, I came in with a principal and a set administrative team, and I have seen in the 6 years that I've been at Doris Johnson, shifting almost every other year. And so when I came in, I already met a certain morale there. And so I, as a chameleon, someone who just, a fish out of water, just coming into this thing, adopted the morale that was already there. Some people were disgruntled, they had their, some people
way
have
of
been
doing
there.
things.
Yeah, they've been there for a while, and so they saw the glory days of Doris Johnson, and they were comparing the new to the old, and so they had a certain way of presenting themselves and talking about the school and whatever, and so I sort of kind of slipped into that, and then I participated in a international conference with special education teachers and just generalist teachers around the world, and being on that Zoom call lit a fire in me. Last school year, I should say, I spent over $1,600 in
Your own money?
my own money to get my classroom prepared, decorations, curtains for the classroom, just things to manipulatives and all that kind of stuff, because of hearing the stories of other teachers and what they have done and what them being prepared to do what they do has done to other children. And even being in special education at Doris Johnson, to see a student that the general population would have called an outcast, they got a job, and they came back and said, Mr. Chase, I now work at such and such a place. And I was like, oh man, that is so good. That is so good.
And that helps build your morale as
does.
well,
It
because
does.
now you're seeing your students that pass through your hands now moving forward.
You're seeing the
and
fruit of your
encouraging
labor.
yes, and
Yes.
encouraging others. What are some of the things that, apart from just the chant or apart from just having a good administration, what would you say to our policymakers when it comes to assisting in boosting teacher morale. Not just the ceremony that we talked about earlier. That was one step in the right direction. Just one step. And I believe the other districts are also having their ceremonies as well. But I believe all of us are in Northeastern.
Yes.
And so we're all Northeastern, so we can share about that, but there's no one here for the other districts, and it would have been nice to have. So what are some of the things that you would say to, this is a safe space, by the way. What are some of the things, I mean, in moderation, what are some of the things, what are some of the things you would say to policymakers that would benefit and boost teacher morale, not just once a year, because you can't have a ceremony so often, but what about throughout the year? What are some of the things that you can suggest? Softly suggest.
Well, what I would say, and this is not me, but this is what I've heard. I've heard teachers complain about, so much is being required. There's so much I have to fill out, so much I have to do, to prepare to teach. And so I feel like maybe if there was a better way of getting information from teachers.
Besides Facebook?
You said it, I didn't say it. But, if they had a better way of getting information to teachers and getting information from teachers, I feel as if some teachers wouldn't be so bogged down and the morale wouldn't be so low at some of the schools.
Okay, so you would like more dissemination of information in a more, I guess, rapid or quick way to receive the information. So, okay, LaDawn?
Well, I would say to the Ministry of Education, first of all, they have made some strides, okay? Because
way to give them their consent,
Yes.
girl.
I mean, I think a few years ago we got a classroom decoration little grant money.
The allowance?
We never, yes, the allowance. We never had that before. So I think that shows that they know that teaching is also expensive. So if you want us to be innovative and you want to encourage that within teachers, I think they could help with more grants, more allowances. The pocket is kind of empty, but if you give teachers
More
allowance,
incentives.
yeah, or allowances or grants for furthering their education,
Ooh.
whether it's becoming certified
That
or
sound
whether
like
it's
another
getting
episode.
a master's degree, because most teachers, when they do progress or they do get higher level education, it is out of their pockets.
It is.
And if the ministry could fund more of those endeavors, to
Fully
keep
fund?
teachers,
Partially fund? Which, now let's
I think we're
talk.
partial now, so the fully fund would be wonderful. They're
Because a lot
partial
of other businesses get full
Yes.
funding.
Like I said, they're making some strides. They're coming along.
Baby
they have,
steps.
Yeah. So hopefully we get there one day where we can send them off to training, with no expense to them. And this is how you encourage teachers to stay in the profession because they're learning new and innovative methods that they want to try out, and they're just encouraged.
We also got the retention bonus. I think that was one of the
Yes,
other
that's another
things
one.
that the ministry in partnership with the unions worked towards, giving us, that little incentive
Yeah.
to
Yes,
stay. Johnette?
I must add, they are currently working on renovating the science labs at C.R. Walker Senior High School.
Okay, science teacher.
So
put
I
in
am
that plug.
excited about that, and then we will also have access to more resources. So when our students go off to university or at the University of the Bahamas, they will be familiar with the various apparatus and the materials that are used in laboratories.
Okay, so you have access to more resources for you. That helps build teacher morale, where you're not stressed over where am I going to get this to teach this, or just having it. You have it more tactile now versus abstract, or even just showing a picture of it on the projector. Okay, what are some other advice you can give, or what are some other things that are being done to boost teacher morale? I mean, personally, if I talk from my perspective, I want to say that Teachers Appreciation is a week, but I really feel as though we could get a bit more from education during Teachers Appreciation Week. I mean, having, taking over a radio show and highlighting, schools and having the children call in and shout out their favorite teacher or their school, having a chant competition. Listen, man, we gotta try boost teacher morale in a real way. You know what I mean? Not just talk. I mean, Classroom Chronicles is here for us to have these conversations, but I mean things like getting everybody involved. You know what I mean? Those chants. Listen to me. When I tell you, when I went to the ceremony and I listened to some of those chants, I was like, oh, that's how y'all is carry on,
Yes.
And so I went back to L.W. Young and I was right there in my classroom saying, boy, y'all, we got to make up one next chant, one next one. We can't just have that one. We got to come like three. So when they come with this, we could give it to them. Give it to them. So watch out. L.W. Young is coming with more chants.
All right now.
All the students, everybody, even the Grammy can come with the chant when we finish. And so there are just a few more things that we can do, not just teachers' appreciation, but I agree, those incentives. I mean, incentives are important. They help. What if I haven't been absent for school any days and the principal say, hey, you haven't been absent, but sis been absent. How about you, take this one day I could give you one day. I mean, I don't know if I could say that, but, it's an incentive, take this one day and, go to Miami. I mean, just hand. But, it's an incentive, like something to motivate you. Or even just, hey, here's lunch on admin. You've never been absent. You've never been late. Here's lunch on admin. Things like, I see that, your car need to wash. Here, go right around the corner to friend and let friend wash your car. Or even just inviting, those persons that come to the location and they wash the car. Hey, on this day we have such and such come in. The school will pay half, and you come with the other half. Well, pay the whole thing. Trying to. So, stuff like that will motivate me. My car is very dirty. I am a single educator, and for me, if someone say they're gonna wash my car, I offer that. Like, hey, that white car right there. And so those are some of the incentives that I would say would motivate me. You know what I mean? Motivate me to do more or to achieve more. So let's talk about none of you have ever had the Family Island experience. So I wanted to get your view. Do you think teacher morale is high on the Family Island or low?
I think it could be high because, and I've heard an educator that works on the Family Island say this, parents are key in teacher morale being high on Family Island. And I would say to, our Nasuvians, another teacher that works along with me said, y'all don't have to get me anything for Teachers Appreciation Day. I said, that is not my story. And I don't want no candy either. Because I bought a bag full of candy and I give it to the kids as treats. I don't want no candy, I have enough. I want money. Tell your mommy, give me money.
Oh my goodness.
Tell your people I want money. And so parents can help with teacher morale as well. Because we teach your children. When you don't have them, they're with us. So, having the person that you're there with most of the time, being excited to be with them would help, And so I feel as if, just like it is on the island, parents, they get involved. Parents, they ask, what do you need? What do you need so that you can teach my child better? And so having parents also be a part of that, they help the teacher morale as well.
So more parental involvement. We need all members involved, the parent, the teachers, and everyone. We need them involved, and that's going to help boost teacher morale. It is so important, in my opinion, to have everybody on board. Would you say that teacher morale can be or is affected mostly by the environment that you are in?
Yes, it is affected by the environment that you are in, because if you are in a positive environment and celebrated and acknowledged for what you've done and what you are doing, the teacher morale will be high. And I always like to say is, if I see any of my colleagues not having a not so good day, I always go and I speak to them and I give them words of encouragement to help and boost their morale.
Thank you so much. And so a few of the things that came out are simply we need more support from our parents, more support from the ministry, more support from the persons that we work with to encourage and boost teacher morale. We'll continue this discussion right after this short break. This is Classroom Chronicles.
Done.
Welcome back to Classroom Chronicles. Today we've been talking about teacher morale. So Ms. Jonette, a few moments ago you mentioned that you have a high teacher morale. What are some of the ways that you maintain that high teacher morale throughout the school year?
Some of the ways I maintain my high teacher morale is that I stay surrounded with positive people, persons who are able to influence me in a positive way and give good guidance to me. And if they see me falling off in any way, they would come and help me and assist me.
Okay. How would you encourage others to find those persons also? Like you found those persons you have your niche, you have your people who you can go to. How would you encourage others to find them at their respective schools?
I would encourage them to just go and introduce themselves to their colleague and ask questions. And most times when you ask the questions, you would realize that the person has a wonderful personality and they are willing to assist you. And you'll be amazed how much assistance you will get from your colleague.
Thank you so much, Jonette. And so now, Mr. Chase. So, Mr. Chase, my question to you is, you're a male. You're the only male up here on the panel today. And we do have a paucity of males in education. So my question to you is, how can you encourage how can you encourage other males to have a high teacher morale like you have? You teach special ed. And that's a big deal, in my opinion. That's not easy. And so for you to have such a high teacher morale when you have so many challenges and you may come up against so many issues, how can you motivate other male teachers to also have a high teacher morale?
Okay, in that sense, I would say don't forget your why. Don't forget why you do what you do. The seeds we sow now, we may not reap the fruit, but we see. But we do see the trees grow. We see the sprouting of, when you teach something and it clicks finally, and they're like, oh, now I understand. And so we see that.
That
we may
eureka
not get
moment.
Yeah, that light bulb going off. We see that. And so don't forget your why. If you want to increase or boost your morale, don't forget your why. And then the government can do this as well to boost the morale. Give me more money.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us in today's session of Classroom Chronicles, where you are encouraged to listen to teachers, acknowledge our expertise, and address the challenges we face. Today we had with us Mistress LaDawn Barr from Doris Johnson, Mr. Davian Chase, also from Doris Johnson, and Mistress Jonette Ferguson Morris from C.R. Walker Senior High School, as we talked about teacher morale, what it is, and how it can be improved within Bahamian schools. I am Miss J, your host. See you on the next one. This is Classroom Chronicles. Thank you for joining us on today's session of Classroom Chronicles, where you are encouraged to listen to teachers, acknowledge our expertise, and address the challenges we face. Today we had with us Mistress LaDawn Barr from Doris Johnson Senior High School, Mr. Davian Chase, also from Doris Johnson Senior High, and Mistress Jonette Ferguson Morris from C.R. Walker Senior High School, as we talked about teacher morale, what it is, and how it can be improved within Bahamian schools. I am your host, Miss J. See you on the next one. This is Classroom Chronicles.